press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Okay, children. So, in the previous session, we have come across some points related to the interference, constructive and destructive interference, some conditions we have studied. So, even in this session, we will continue the same with the interference. Some more points related to how variation of the amplitude, right? How the phase difference will cause so and so changes or factors related to that we are going to study in this session even. So, now in the resultant amplitude we have written it as what? R equals to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi, isn't it? Resultant equation is resultant amplitude of the two superposing waves is what? R equals to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos phi we have written. And now some points related to resultant amplitude, intensity, one more term I am going to introduce for that. So, how we have to solve the problems on them based on this concept of theory of interference related to the equations how we have to solve in this session we will study first, and then we will move on to Young's double slit experiment. What is Young's double slit experiment and what conclusions we have made not to study this interference phenomenon. Interference means what more? Waves from two coherent sources when they are superposed, either a constructive or destructive interference is going to take place. Resultant wave is going to be either constructive or destructive. So, how that resultant amplitudes or resultant intensities are going to be formed on the screen when these two are going to be superposed. That phenomena we have to study here, or that particular phenomena we will study. So, before going for it, this is the resultant wave we are having. If and we have written already R maximum equals to how much? R maximum equals to A plus B and R minimum equals to what? A minus B. In the previous class we have explained this R maximum and R minimum how much it is. So, also if A and B are equal, for example, if A equals to B, then how to write the resultant amplitude? Resultant amplitude, what happens, you just see here now, implies R equals to root of course this is A square, I will write this one as plus A square plus 2A square into cos phi, okay, na? A square plus 2A square into cos phi, or I can rewrite this one as root of A square plus A square is 2A square, here 2A square, if I take common, remaining is what? 1 plus cos phi, 1 plus cos phi. How to write 1 plus cos phi in terms of phi by 2? Hope you have learned this in your what is that? In mathematics you have already learned that, right? How to write 1 plus cos theta in terms of what? And 1 minus cos theta can be written as what? Just like see cos 2 phi by 2 I will write here. Cos 2 theta is what? Cos square theta minus sin square theta. That's all, isn't it? So, this is cos 2 theta, isn't it? So, cos 2 theta is nothing but what? Cos phi. 1 plus cos phi if I add, plus 1 I am going to add. 1 minus sin square phi by 2 is nothing but cos square phi by 2. So, I will replace this with what? Plus cos square phi by 2. So, this is nothing but what? 2 cos square phi by 2. So, 1 plus cos phi, I can write this one as what? 2 cos square phi by 2. This is what I supposed to mention here. I hope you learned this in mathematics already, no need to explain, but still you just have an idea. So, 1 plus cos phi it will be equals to what? 1 plus cos phi equals to 2 cos square phi by 2. If I rewrite, this is 2a square into 2 cos square phi by 2, 2 cos square phi by 2. Taking the root of it, what you will get? 2 2s are 4, take out of the root you will get 2. A square A, cos square phi by 2, cos phi by 2. So, finally we will end up with resultant amplitude equals to 2A cos phi by 2 is the direct formula what you can remember to find out amplitude of the resultant wave when the two waves which are going to be superposed are having the same amplitude. Two waves which are superposing are having the same amplitude, right? So, then cos phi it will be equals to, R it will be equals to what? 2A cos phi by 2. Instead of substituting for this formula, directly I can make use of it. 2a cos phi by 2. At a point where phase difference is phi, if they are given, then directly I can, if I say that, if they say like, not always constructive or destructive interference to be formed. Constructive when it is phi values are 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi and so on. Destructive when if they are superposed by pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, 7 pi and so on, phase difference between them I am talking. Getting or not, right? So when they are, when the path difference is, sorry, phase difference is pi, 2 pi and so on, then destructive. Apart from this 0, 2 pi, 4 pi or pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, if it is pi by 2, pi by 2 means what? Phi is pi by 2 means this will become pi by 4, means 45, cos 45 is 1 by root 2, then you will get some resultant. Got the point, right? Means it's not the rule like always cos theta value should be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi or pi, 3 pi, even or odd multiples of pi, even it may be like pi by 2 or pi by 4, right? If it is 60 degrees the phase difference, right? So what will be the value of resultant amplitude? So you can solve for it. So this is the equation, short way you have to remember. For what? If amplitudes are going to be equal, then the resultant is going to be given by 2a cos phi by 2. Here what happens to R maximum, tell me now? Now R maximum it will be equals to what? R maximum will become A plus B, A and A are equal, it will be equals to what? 2a. Or else you can substitute in this formula itself. For phase, for constructive, R maximum when constructive, for constructive phase is what? 0, 2 pi, 4 pi. If I put cos 0 here, it will become 1, then it will be equals to what? 2a. This so. R minimum, when the R will be minimum, for which values of phi R will be minimum? Pi. If I put pi here, pi by 2, 90, cos 90, 0. So that's why it will be R minimum will be equals to what? 0. Or if you take here also A minus B, A minus A, 0. This is what? R minimum, R maximum and R minimum in case of two waves which are going to be superposed with equal amplitudes. If they are having both of them are equal amplitudes, right? This is the way how we have to remember with. This is about the amplitudes are equal, how to write maximum, R maximum and R minimum as well as the resultant amplitude. So apart from this, I told you one more term we have to learn. What is that? Intensity. Intensity. This part which we have already studied in waves once again, we have studied when we have studied with waves, you know, what is the displacement equation of the wave, energy of the wave, intensity of the wave, isn't it? Velocity of the wave, frequency, wavelength, all parameters and even like propagation constant k, so how to define, so all those things we have studied there in waves, we have studied even in oscillations also in SHM. Energy equation of SHM means what we have written, half m omega square into a square we have written, hope you have remembered. Try to recall all those things. Energy is directly proportional to square of amplitude, remembered or not? So the same thing if I take what is intensity, generally intensity equals to energy per unit area per unit time. This is the formula to find out intensity of a wave. Even thermal physics also we have studied what is the intensity of a black body radiation or so and so things, right? Energy radiated per unit area per unit time. So intensity is directly proportional to energy, na? So I will say intensity, energy is directly proportional to what? Square of amplitude of the wave. So that's why I can write it directly, intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude of the given wave. Or if I write in sentence only, I will mention intensity of a given wave is directly proportional to the square of amplitude. Intensity is directly proportional to what? Amplitude square. Amplitude square. Remember this point. Intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude. For solving the problems related to the intensity in interference concept, right? This relation will help you a lot for you. Now I will say two waves which are having the amplitudes A and B earlier, you know. For the first wave amplitude is A and its intensity is I1, I will say, and for the second one amplitude is B and its intensity is I2, I am going to say, and the resultant amplitude is R and its, let's say the resultant wave's intensity is I. Then how to write for the values? Then how, what you can say, I1 is proportional to what? A square, and I2 it is proportional to what? B square. Why? Because intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude, isn't it? So intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude of the second. So resultant intensity I is proportional to what? R square. So that's why this equation will take what form you see here now? R square equals to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos phi we are having, right? So now this equation I am going to rewrite it as, see how we are going to rewrite this equation. In place of R square I can substitute for resultant intensity I equals to A square means what? I1 plus B square means what? I2 plus A can be written as root I1. This is 2 root I1 into root I2 into cos phi. This is what? Expression for intensity of resultant wave. If two waves with intensities I1 and I2 are going to be superposed, then the resultant wave's intensity is given by I equals to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 into cos phi. Remember this formula for what? Intensity. For amplitude of the resultant you have remembered root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos phi. In the same way, intensity of the resultant wave is given by I equals to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 into cos phi. Here I1 is intensity of the first, I2 is the intensity of the second wave. When these two waves are going to be superposed, then the resultant intensity is given by this relation, just remember with. Now coming back to the values of maximum intensity and minimum intensity, how we need to solve it, we will check with that. How to find out the value of maximum and minimum intensity. They are very important. Intensity concept is most important even for competitive perspective. You are going to get the questions from that part. Now I will rewrite this. I equals to what? I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 into root I2 into cos phi. This is what the resultant intensity what we are having for the wave. Resultant wave where two waves of intensities I1 and I2 are going to be superposed. So now when actually intensity is going to be maximum, when the amplitude is resultant is maximum, that is constructive interference. I equals to I maximum if cos phi equals to 1. If the value of cos phi is 1, then what is the value of I maximum now? I maximum it will be equals to I1 plus I2 plus, this is 2 root I1 into root I2. I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 into root I2 is what? Maximum intensity we are going to get. Or rewriting this relation, see, mathematically we can rewrite this one as, this is root I1 whole square plus root I2 whole square plus 2 root I1 into root I2. It's like A square plus B square plus 2AB form it is. I am going to rewrite as I maximum it will be equals to, see, root I1 plus root I2 whole square. This is the formula you have to remember for what? Maximum intensity of, or intensity in case of constructive interference you can say. In case of constructive interference, I maximum equals to root of I1 plus I2, resultant intensity of the resultant wave is root I1 plus root I2 whole square. Similarly, I minimum can be written as what? Similarly, I minimum means what? What should be the value of cos phi? Minus 1. If I substitute for minus 1 here, this will become minus root I1 whole square plus root I2 whole square minus 2 root I1 root I2. So finally you will end up with like I minimum will be equals to root I1 minus root I2 whole square. This is what I minimum value. Okay. So root I1 minus root I2 whole square. So these two are the two equations you have to remember. I maximum by I minimum means what? Tell me. See, I maximum divided by I minimum. I maximum by I minimum equals to root I1 plus root I2 divided by root I1 minus root I2 whole square. This is the formula for I maximum by I minimum. Okay, na? So few times they will give the problems like this. I will just mention here itself. They'll ask the questions like, if the ratio of intensities of two superposing waves is 2, what is that? Ratio of two superposing intensities of two superposing waves is 2 they are given, means what? Meaning is I1 by I2 is 2 they are given. Then what is the ratio of maximum to minimum intensity of the two superposing waves they will ask, means I maximum by I minimum they will ask. They have not given I1 and I2 separate. If they are given I1 and I2 separately, I can substitute here I1, I2 values I can substitute, I can get the value. But what they are given, I1 by I2 is, they have given some value. This ratio of two superposing waves, if they are given, then how to find I maximum by I minimum? So that formula also you see here, how to write for it. If the ratio of, I will mention the term, if the ratio of two superposing waves, ratio of what? Intensities of two superposing waves, intensities of two superposing waves, comma, I1 by I2 equals to some x, I will say, x or a or b, whatever it may be. I1 by I2 equals to some x. Then what is the value of I maximum by I minimum they will ask. What is the value of I maximum divided by I minimum equals to how much? So you know I maximum, I minimum means this is the relation. See, throughout you take, you divide with I2 for those in the both numerator and denominator, for those implies I maximum divided by I minimum will be equals to, see, I will divide and multiply with I2 here, root I2 minus root of I2 by I2 whole divided by, this is root of I1 by I2, this is plus, minus root of I2 by I2 whole square it is. Just I2 can be cancelled both in numerator and denominator. I1 by I2 they are given it as what? X. So then I can write this one as I maximum by I minimum will be equals to, see, I maximum by I minimum it will be equals to what? Root x plus 1. See, this is I1 by I2 is x. I2 they will get cancelled. Root 1 it is root x plus 1 divided by root x minus 1 whole square. This is the formula which you have to remember. I maximum by I minimum equals to root x plus 1 by root x minus 1 whole square. Directly you can solve if they are given. The problem I already told you in the beginning of this point. What is that? If two waves which are going to be superposed are having the intensity ratio as some x, or intensity ratio is 5, then what is the value of I maximum intensity to the minimum intensity if those two waves are going to be superposed, they will ask. Then I maximum by I minimum is root 5 plus 1 divided by root 5 minus 1, or like 4 is the I1 by I2 value, means root 4 plus 1 by root 4 minus 1. Root 4 is what? 2. 2 plus 1, 3 by 2 minus 1, 1. Root this is 3 by 1 means 9 by 1 you will get. One of the option you have to pick there. So this is the kind of problem related to the intensity what you have to remember with. And few times what they will give? I maximum by I minimum they will give. They will ask you to find what is the ratio of intensities of two superposing waves. Intensities of two waves which are getting superposed are I1 and I2. They have given I maximum and they will ask you to find the value of I1 by I2. Then what it is? I max by I minimum is this. You have to solve for x in this formula. Hope you got it right. So how to solve for x means just simplification. I maximum I by I minimum is some y or some 10 they are given, for example. This ratio is 10, right? And this is root x plus root 1 divided by root x minus root 1. You take the root on both the sides and cross multiply and obtain the expression for x, and you will get what? I1 by I2 value. I hope you got this point. Right. So this is one point related to the intensity, maximum and minimum intensity ratios if they are given, or individual intensity ratios if they are given, how you need to find the ratio of maximum to minimum intensity. That's how you have to remember with. So apart from this, in the same equation what we have studied, if I1 and I2s are going to be equal, if I1 and I2s are here in terms of amplitudes, how to write the this I maximum and I minimum values, tell me. So in terms of amplitudes also, you know, intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude, isn't it? So then I maximum by I minimum means what you have written, root I1 plus root I2 by, this is root I1 minus root I2 whole square we have written. Okay, na? So root I1, in place of root I1 I can write what? A. In place of root I2, B. Same, in the same way this can be written as intensities if they are given, then in terms of amplitudes how to write. This will be equals to, root I1 means same. This is A plus B whole square divided by A minus B whole square, isn't it? I maximum is what? Maximum amplitude is directly intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude. Amplitude of resultant in case of constructive is what? A plus B. That's why I proportional to A square. I maximum by, see, I minimum equals to A plus B divided by A minus B whole square. And you remember even in this form also it will be equals to A by B plus 1 divided by A by B minus 1 whole square. Why I have written this formula? Why I have written this relation means, see, few times they will give, if the amplitudes of two superposing waves are having a ratio of 2, what is that? Amplitudes of two superposing waves means this is A and this is some B. The ratio of A and B is some 2 they are given. A by B equals to what? 2. What is the ratio of maximum to minimum intensity of these two waves when they have been superposed? They will ask. These are all shortcuts which you have to remember with. What is that? In that case, if A by B equals to X, if I write, if, what is this one? Ratio of amplitudes of two superposing waves. If ratio of amplitudes of two superposing waves, comma, A by B equals to some X if I say, or some Y, anything you take, some value, then I maximum by I minimum equals to the two waves when they constructively interfere or destructively interfere, right, their maximum to minimum intensity will be equals to X plus 1 or Y we have taken, no? Y plus 1 divided by Y minus 1 whole square. This is one more short form which you have to remember with. Okay, na? So, or else what they may ask even the problem like, say I am stretching more on the intensity concept. Why? Because particularly for JEE, straight away such kind of questions you are going to get. So, if you remember the shortcuts, you can, or else if you have the knowledge on that, how to solve, if you know the intensity, amplitudes if you know, ratio of amplitudes if you know, ratio of intensities if you know, right, ratio of maximum to minimum intensities if you know, how to find the amplitudes of the two superposed waves. See, one more, just I'll give one more example where you can make use of this equation. They are given amplitude of one of the wave is A equals to 2 meters, they are given. It is that amplitude of one of the wave is A equals to 2 meters. And ratio of maximum to minimum intensity is I maximum by I minimum value, they have given it as some 9, let me say. What is the value of I maximum by I minimum? They have given 9. Then what is the amplitude of the other wave, they will ask. Amplitude of other superposing wave will be equals to how much? How to solve for it? Firstly, see, they are given amplitude of the first superposing wave is 2 meter. And again they are given data is what? Ratio of maximum to minimum intensity is how much? 9 they have given. Then what is the amplitude of the second superposing wave? That's what they are asking. Means we have one relation. See, without knowing this relation, directly if you want to solve, we know amplitude formula is what? Resultant is root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos phi. Our amplitude. Our intensity is root I1, I2 they have not given here. The ratio, maximum to minimum intensity ratio they are given. Maximum to minimum. If I take for this, root if I take on both sides, root of I maximum by I minimum means it will become what? 3. 3 equals to, this is Y plus 1 divided by Y minus 1. You solve for Y. Y is what here ma? A by B. Amplitude of amplitude of the first wave divided by amplitude of the second wave. So, if I solve for Y, I will get the value of A by B. If I know the value of A by B, I know already the value of A, we can solve for B in this equation. So, that is the use of these equations, intensity, amplitude relations, use is this much. I have given all the examples there. There is a use for writing all these equations and solving for these equations in terms of maximum to minimum intensity ratio in terms of individual intensities, that is the one thing. Maximum to minimum intensities in terms of individual amplitudes, that is one thing. Maximum to minimum intensities ratio in terms of ratio of intensities of two superposing wave, one thing. Maximum to minimum intensities in terms of ratio of amplitudes of the two superposing waves, this one. These many 4 equations. In the short way, if you remember, well and good, or else if you generally most of the students, they may not memorize all these equations over there, but still the method you learn how we have to solve. Basic equation is what? Intensity is directly proportional to square of amplitude. That is the basic first thing. If you remember, then you can solve for all the kind of problems related to the relations among amplitude and intensity. So this is one kind of problem where you have to remember with. Next, one more application here, or one more extension to this. I'll extend over there. Important, all these are. You try to solve the problems on this. Most of the competitive books you are having in the beginning of the wave optics itself, you can find the questions on this intensity and amplitude. You can solve them. When in NCERT also, some good number of questions you are having on the same, you can solve for them. See here. If I say two waves which are going to be superposed are having same intensity, I1 equals to I2 equals to some I0, if I say, what is that? Two waves which are superposed, two waves which are getting superposed, right, are having same intensity. If I say I1 equals to I2 equals to some I0, if I am going to mention. What is the intensity of the resultant wave, you tell me now? Intensity of the resultant wave, how to find? I equals to I2, how to write the resultant intensity? Root I1, sorry, this is I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 into cos phi. That's what we have written, I equals to, or I can rewrite this equation as I equals to, what is I1? I0. I2 is also I0. If I write, this is I0 plus I0 plus this is 2 root I0 into root I0 into cos phi. Is it visible? Yeah. I0 plus 2 root I0 into cos phi. Or I can write I equals to, this is 2 I0 plus root A into root A. Root A square, square and root they will get cancelled, A. It will be equals to 2 I0 into cos phi. See once again, 2 I0 if I take common, remaining is what? 1 plus cos phi. 1 plus cos phi. So, what is the value of, I have already told you, I have already written 1 plus cos phi value, it is equals to what? 2 cos square phi by 2 I can rewrite. So, finally, I equals to, this is 2 I0 into, this is 2 cos square phi by 2. 2 to 4, or finally you can write like I equals to 4 I0 into cos square phi by 2. This is short way you have to remember. After discussion of Young's double slit experiment, problems you are going to get on this equation, they are very important. How they will ask two waves of same amplitude means what? Indirectly intensities are same, of same intensity are going to be superposed. If the waves which are getting superposed are having a phase difference of some 30 degree or 60 degree they are given, then what is the resultant intensity they will ask? Then straight away you can make use of this relation, 4 I0 into cos square phi by 2. What is the value of I maximum here, tell me? Maximum intensity, if I and I are equal, intensities are equal, then maximum intensity you are going to get is what? Cos 0, 1, that's why it is, how much it is? 4 I0. Maximum intensity, if two waves are going to be of same intensity or superposed, then maximum intensity is 4 I0. And what is the value of minimum intensity? I minimum equals to 0. Why 0? Cos 90, 0. If not, other than 0 or 90 if they are going to be superposed, 0 or 180 if they are going to be superposed, then resultant intensity you can find using this relation. This is very important relation in the course of discussions, right? Again, by the time when I am going to start with Young's double slit experiment, and some applications and problems when I am discussing. At that time again we will recall this. I'll ask this. No, I can't ask that. We'll just recall these formulas again. So by the time we can see again. Okay. So hope everyone got the points related to the intensity, amplitude, how they are going to vary, and in relation with what? Phase difference and path difference of the two superposing waves. This is about all about the some theory we have learnt about interference in terms of their intensities, amplitude, how they are going to vary, and so on so parameters. Okay. All the theoretical way, how what is intensity we have studied. Theoretical way in the sense. So like only the equation part we have studied. Practically one person named Young. Young is a person who has demonstrated this experiment. Young is a person who has demonstrated the experiment of what? Young's double slit experiment. Generally we used to say Young's double slit experiment. What is that? Young person name it is Young's double slit experiment. Young's double slit experiment. Hope time is. Okay, we can conclude this experiment in this session. Young's double slit experiment. Okay. Is a person firstly who demonstrated this interference phenomena. Interference phenomena has experimentally demonstrated by this person named what? Young. If you want to conduct an interference experiment, it is like two light sources we are going to take. We are talking in terms of light. Interference of any kind of waves you can observe. So like sound waves, light waves, whatever may be the waves when they are going to, this two waves can be, mechanical waves can be superposed. That we have studied already in our syllabus in curriculum first year, right? When two waves, mechanical wave, transverse waves, when they are going to be traveling in opposite direction, superposed to form what? Stationary wave. Like a stretched string, it is connected between 2 points. One wave traveled and repelled and it is going to be superposed on that. That is also superposition only. Two waves are getting combined there. Argon pipes we have studied. Closed pipe and open pipe. In that, sound waves, whatever you are going to produce, right? So when they suffer a small reflection from the rigid support, like nodes are going to be formed there, antinodes, how they are going to be formed, they are all superposition only. There we have studied about what? Superposition of mechanical waves. And this one about, and remember light waves are transverse in nature. About this superposition of light waves we are studying. All light waves, what we are having, all the source, right? All the light waves can superpose, but not all the light waves superposed are going to form the interference phenomena. This interference is going to be a phenomena. Interference is the phenomena, it is going to be formed by the superposition of two waves. There is no doubt in that. Which type of waves should be, light wave should be superposed to form this interference phenomena? Means in the beginning only I told you the conditions we have studied. What conditions we have studied there? Coherency conditions we have studied. Only the two waves which are coming from two coherent sources. Coherency condition means the waves which are coming from two sources need to have the same phase or constant phase difference, and they need to have same frequency. Frequency of both the waves should be same. Okay, so then we will say that the two waves are said to be coherent. Now, practically how you can obtain the two coherent sources? Is it possible to obtain two independent coherent sources? Coherent sources means frequency should be constant. Okay, first you take with frequency of the two waves which are going to be superposed should be constant. How you can have the two light waves to be of same frequency means same colored light if I take, both are going to have the same frequency. One light I have taken, the other one I have taken, monochromatic. Monochromatic means what? Single colored light. Monochromatic, single colored light. if I am going to take such a type of two sources, for example, like red I have taken or some green I have taken, for example, both are green colors. Obviously frequency is going to be same, right? Within that visible region you are going to have the frequency from 4000 to 7000 angstroms. Within that, in some color I have taken, red or orange or green or anything I have taken, both the two sources are of same frequency I have taken. In general, monochromatic source of light we are going to get from lasers. Such a type of high coherent or you can say like highly monochromatic or highly coherent, highly high intense beam of light which is going to be coming from two laser sources I have taken. Let's say both of red color we are going to get from these two laser sources. You just think of an example over here. Now, even though the frequency of the light which is coming from these two laser sources is going to be same, in the sense their frequencies are going to be equal, one condition is satisfied. How about the other major condition to be satisfied if I want to call them as coherent sources? What is that? Phase. If that phase or phase difference between the two waves which are going to be superposed is not constant, phase should be constant or phase difference should be constant. Phase should be same for both of them or phase difference should be constant. If that condition is not going to be satisfied, then you can never say that the two sources are said to be coherent. So for that, if I take individual highly high intense monochromatic sources, like laser if I am going to take, even then both the sources what I have taken is of 5 volt batteries only they are going to run, and both are of red color, frequencies are same, and you can't guarantee that both the lights which are coming from these two sources are going to be in phase. So that phase of those two sources do depends on the chemical properties of the battery which you are going to make use. There may be a small variation in that, right? You can't guarantee for the two waves which are coming from these two laser sources, right, or two lasers, you can't guarantee that both of them are going to have in phase, right? Initially they may be in phase, right, and you can't say that both of them are going to be in phase for a long time. So one of the battery and the other battery, right, due to the chemical compositions what they are going to intend with which this the light is going to be coming out, right, there may be small variations or fluctuations it may take place within that. Then the light, you can't say that all the points in locus of all the points are in phase for these two, both of the sources which you are going to consider. That's what we have seen, isn't it? So then you can't say that both of them are in phase. Got the point? So then you can't say that you can make a small conclusion here that two individual sources can never be coherent. Two individual sources will never be coherent in this nature. So how come then a single source can act as coherent source? Coherent source means comparison we need to have, right? Two sources we need to have, or two waves I need to have. If I want to say the two waves are said to be coherent, means two waves we need to have. Single source we cannot have the coherence. Then how come two individual sources we cannot have the coherency condition, right? So then how we can find out means there is one small technique what Young has made used, that is division of wavefront. Hope you remember the wavefront concept what we have studied in the very first class, right? Huygens wavefront principle. If I am going to take a point source, this point source is going to form light in all the directions like this. Okay, so what do you call this one as wavefront? I told you, means locus of all the points which are in phase. At any point if I take on this wavefront, right, so all the points they will be having the same phase. That's what we have studied for the definition of wavefront in the beginning of the this chapter we have studied. In the very first session we come across the concept of wavefront, right? That's what it is, that if a source of light is going to let's say a point source I am taken here, if it is going to emit the radiations, it emits the radiations in all the directions, it emits the light in all the directions, right? If I take all the locus of all the points which are in phase, that is wavefront. Now they have taken one cardboard like this. There is a cardboard, they made two small holes for them. They made two small holes for these two cardboards. For this cardboard, right, two small holes have been made like this. Now see, this entire thing is opaque, no light is through this region, right? Even here also no light is going to be passing through. Why? We have kept an obstacle here now, we kept a small obstacle, that's why, like this. What happens? Can you see this entire light over in this region now? It's impossible. But this source, this slits what we are having here now, right? They will act as the sources. From this small slit, light is going to be coming out. You can observe that. Now, whatever the light coming from this slit and from this slit will be of the same wavefront. The light coming from both the slits will be of what? Same wavefront. We are going to divide this wavefront here now. What we are going to divide? The wavefront has been divided here, right? So, whatever the light which is coming from this source, now this will act as a primary source here now, like this. All the light which is coming from here, right, is of this particular wavefront itself. And here also whatever the light which is going to be coming out here, right, is of same wavefront. Means this slit and this slit is acting as two sources now, isn't it? The two slits are acting as two sources. Are they real sources? They are virtual sources. Remember this. Which type of sources here? Virtual sources. Virtual. Why? Because light is not originating from here exactly. Really the source of light is here. This is a real source. And these two are what? Virtual sources. Now these two virtual sources are acting as what now? Source of light. Or now these two virtual sources will behave as coherent sources. They will behave as now coherent source. Why? Because both are from the same source. This light which is coming from the slit 1 as well as from the slit 2 both are from the same source. Means definitely their frequency will be same. As well as their frequency along with that, see, both are from same single wavefront only now. Single wavefront means what phase will be there for the light at this point, same phase will be there at this particular point also. Means phase of these two, phase of the light coming from these two sources is going to be constant. Means phase phi also it remains constant for the light which is coming from these two sources. As long as this is switched on, light is going to be coming out of the slit as well as coming out of the slit. The light which is coming out of these two slits are supposed to be from the single source and from the single wavefront. Obviously, frequency remains constant and phase remains constant. Hence, we have arrived at the condition of what? Coherency. So, once if the coherency condition is satisfied, now the waves which are coming from this point source, virtual source, and the waves which are coming from this source, when they will superpose, see, this one wave is superposed over on this, right? This one wave has been superposed on this. See, wave of this first and wave of the second, they have superposed. Wave of the first slit, wave of the second slit. Means light waves which are coming from two sources, they are going to be superposing now. And finally, they will form certain intensity pattern on the screen. What he has done is, first this what? His explanation. Whose explanation? Simply theoretically, if you learn what is amplitudes, intensity, that is not enough. And this person has taken up the task of explaining this interference phenomena experimentally. By conducting an experiment, making an experimental setup, right? So that person has explained all these phenomena. We have to study what are all the inference, what he has observed on the screen, how the interference pattern that is formed on the screen, everything he has observed. If I take this the center of the screen, if I am going to consider, right, somewhere at certain distance D, right, he has taken a screen. This is the source now. Remember, this is not our source, this will be our source. Which type of sources they are? Virtual sources. Two slits now, they are going to be acting as what? Virtual sources. And let me say distance between these two slits, he has taken it as some small d, let it be. And the wavelength of this light, monochromatic source, remember that is not the colored light they have taken, monochromatic initially. Young's double slit experiment has been conducted for what? Monochromatic source of light. Monochromatic source means single wavelength or single frequency, means single colored light it is, throughout the frequency is going to be constant. If such light, if the waves from these two slits are going to be superposed, how the intensity pattern that is going to be formed on the screen. Now if you observe, this is exactly at the center of these two slits now. If I say this is S1 and S2, this point is exactly at the center of these two. This is the point center. And this is the center of the screen. If you observe, the wave which is coming from this point, S1 to C, and the wave which is coming from S2 to C, S1 to C and S2 to C, both will travel equal distances. Both will travel what? Equal distances, means a wave is going to be traveling like this and finally it is going to be reached here. And here also, a wave will start here and finally it is going to be reached at this point. These two are going to travel equal distances. Equal distances. What is the phase difference between them? Phase difference between these two waves is how much here now, means if it is this much, even this also, both are of same, what do you say, like both are in phase, these two are, means how much distance the first travel, the same as traveled by the second wave, means what? What is the phase difference between these two waves now? 0. Means this what? Phase difference is 0 means which type of interference we are going to get? Constructive interference we are going to get. We are going to get the constructive interference if phase difference is going to be 0. Constructive interference you are going to get means amplitude is going to be maximum. Then the resultant intensity is supposed to be like this. This is the maximum intensity you are going to get on the screen. So this is a small explanation what I have given, how the waves from these two slits S1 and S2 will superpose at that point. Not only this, continuously what he has observed on the screen, like what exactly he observed on the screen in continuation, like not only at the exactly at the center of the screen, even like away from the center, either it is above the center of the screen or below the center of the screen. What are all his observations that we have to study in depth? We will see that. Is what? So I will take like this is one slit and this is the other slit. So over here, this is S2 and this is, I will say this is S1, two slits, and the distance between these two slits is what? D. No doubt this wave is going to emit the light in all the directions, all the possible directions you are aware, like this. Okay, and even this wave also emit the light in, this source also is going to emit the light in all the directions like this. And even like this. Now, what is the observation they had on the screen? Remember, when I told the concept of primary wavefront and secondary wavefront, I told you interference is caused due to the superposition of two primary wavefronts and diffraction is due to the superposition of two secondary wavefronts or a primary and a secondary wavefront, like that. All these sources, wavefronts what we are seeing from these two slits, right, they are going to be primary wavefronts, remember. Only when that two primary wavefronts will superpose, interference pattern is going to be formed on the screen. At the center of the screen, what is going to be formed? Bright. The name, the terminology we are going to introduce here, fringes. Bright fringe is going to be formed at the center. Fringes. Fringes. Bright, central bright is going to, exactly at the center, what is going to be formed? Bright fringe. Now, for example, see these two waves is superposed here, these two, and again at this point, all such points will combine to form a certain pattern on the screen at this point P, right? If these two waves which are superposing here, see this is wave 1 and this is some wave 2 of this one, for example. This is the second wave, this is a wave from the second slit, and this is a wave from the first slit. These two are combined, right? Let me say they are having a phase difference of some pi. Even one more I have marked here. This is from the first source and this is from the second source. So when these two are going to be combined, let's say they are having a phase difference of pi. So all the waves which are going to be superposed with phase difference of pi, all they will combine like this and they will form certain intensity on the screen. Can you tell me which type of intensity you are going to get if they are having a phase difference of pi? All such pi's are going to be interfered and form some intensity here. Which type of intensity you are going to get, or which type of interference you are going to get here? If the phase difference is pi, destructive interference. Then at P, destructive interference is going to be formed. If for example, just an example I am taking here. If for example, wave from this one and wave from this one, right, interfere here at this point, and wave from the first source and wave from the second source, they will interfere at this point. If these two are going to be having a phase difference of, means this first wave and the second wave is having a phase difference of 2 pi for example, and this first wave and the second wave is having a phase difference of 2 pi. All that wave phase differences which are having 2 pi will interfere at this point to form what? Which type of interference? The constructive interference. Then at point P, which type of interference is formed? Constructive interference is going to be formed. Remember, constructive interference is formed means bright fringes are going to be formed. For constructive interference, type of fringe formed is bright fringe. Bright fringe is going to form due to the constructive interference, and for the destructive interference, which type of wave is going to be formed means dark fringe is going to be formed. Remember this point, dark fringe is going to be formed. In terms of fringes, you have to see, he observed some fringes, fringe like a straight line path like this. This is bright fringe, immediately no intensity means dark, immediately bright fringe, immediately no intensity, immediately bright fringe, like that. All these bright lines means it all which type of fringe is going to be formed, it depends upon the type of wave fringe source what you have taken. If it is a linear source kind of a wave fringe, that concept I will discuss later, which type of fringes are going to be formed, whether they are going to be straight line, they are going to be circular, or they are going to be in which form, which type of fringes are going to be formed, I'll tell you later. Means just bright fringe means a bright line, it is going to be formed like this. Dark line means nothing is present in that region, zero intensity. Next, beside that, consecutive bright and dark fringes are going to be formed like this. If the central one is bright, next one is dark. Next one is bright, next one is dark, next one is, that's what. So what is the observation he made means, how they are going to be formed means superposition of these waves. See once again, I'll say these waves are going to be superposed here. Let me say this is one wave, wave from the slit 1 and wave from slit 2. Wave from slit 1 and wave from slit 2. Wave from slit 1 and wave from slit 2. So all these waves superposed to form certain intensity on the screen. Okay. So what will be the intensity at this point P dash means? It depends on the phase difference between the two waves which are superposing here. All which are having a phase difference of pi will superpose here. All which are having a phase difference of 0 will superpose here. Means all the waves which are having, let me say, like they are superposed here, for example, here one point and here one point I have taken, they are superposed here, let me say, means at this point and at this point, the waves which are getting superposed, meaning is one wave and the other wave. Equations we have studied, no, this is y1 equals to a sin omega t and this is y2 equals to b sin omega t plus phi. That phi between these two waves only we are talking here. At this point phi between these two waves and at this point phi between these two waves is 0, that's why it is formed at this point. First constructive interference is at central fringe, central bright fringe, right? Here what should be the value of phase difference for the waves to form at this point? Phi equals to 0. Why? Because they will travel equal distances. Path difference is 0 between them. Path difference 0 means obviously phase difference should be 0. That's why exactly at the center, which type of interference? Constructive interference. And phase difference should be equals to what? 0. After 0, what is the phase we are going to get again? 2 pi. Next constructive interference will be at 2 pi we have studied. Yes or no? 2n pi we have studied for constructive interference phase difference, right? And if we put n equals to 0, constructive interference you are going to get at that point. N equals to 1, next phase difference is what? 2 pi. Means first bright fringe whatever it is formed, right? This is first bright fringe whichever it is going to be formed. This is central bright, remember you should not count this. This is the first bright fringe. For first bright fringe what is going to be formed? What should be the phase difference? 2 pi. Two waves which are all having phase difference of 2 phi, which are superposing here, right? If which are all, let me say these two all are having, these two are having a phase difference of 2 pi, they will form which type of fringe here, or which type of interference is going to be formed? Constructive interference, and that too first bright fringe is going to be formed. See, in between this central bright and first fringe, one dark fringe we are having. First dark fringe is going to be obtained at what phase difference? What should be the value of phase difference for destructive interference means? 2n minus 1 into pi, 2n minus 1 into pi I told. N values will start from 1. If n equals to 1, 2 minus 1, how much it is? Pi. Means for first dark fringe n equals to 1. For first dark fringe n equals to 1 means what should be the phase difference between those? Pi. Means whichever the fringe which is formed in between this first bright and the central bright will be first dark fringe. First dark fringe supposed to have a phase difference of pi. Next dark fringe is going to be formed where? Beside this first and second bright. Between this first and second bright, second dark is going to be formed. If I want to say second dark fringe should be formed at that point means the waves which are superposing, right, these two, the waves which are going to be superposed needs to have a phase difference of how much? For second bright n equals to 2 I will put. 2 to the 4 minus 1, how much? 3 pi. The two waves which are going to be superposed are having a phase difference of 3 pi. Then which type of interference? Second destructive. That means second dark fringe is going to be formed at that point. Similarly, third dark is formed means n equals to what? 3. 3 to the 6. 6 minus 1, 5 pi. At this point, path phase difference between the two waves superposed to form the third dark fringe is how much? 3 pi. 3 means 5 pi. Next one is fourth dark means n equals to 4 you put. What you'll get? 8 minus 1, 7 pi, 9 pi and so on. Exactly at the center, phi equals to 0. First bright fringe, phi equals to 2 pi. Second bright fringe, phi equals to 4 pi and so on. I hope these are all new terminology for you, but still at the extent what you are now in second year, right, you have crossed all these kind of extent of hardness in already in waves, the concept of phase difference, everything you have come across here. Here also very clearly I have taken some time in the beginning, by the time when I have explained interference, constructive and destructive interference conditions, when I have explained, I have taken some time and they given each and every point related to that, how the constructive destructive interference it is going to take place. So here also how this Young's double slit experiment, Young's how he has explained this, he has studied this phenomena. He observed on the screen, based on what he observed on the screen, he has deduced all those. Yes, he obtained all the equations correspondingly, or he just mentioned likewise the phase should be, likewise the path difference should be, right? Or if I talk something about the path difference, distance from this slit S1 to C and S2 to C is going to be same, equal, S1 and S2. Distance is going to be same. Distance is same means extra path, anything it has traveled, no, path difference is 0. So obviously phase difference between the two waves which are superposing at that point will be 0. Okay. So this is about the constructive and destructive interference, how it is going to take place in case of interference phenomena, how Young has explained this. So there are some equations to be derived from this. How to derive that equations, everything, I'll just look on to that in the probably in the next session. Let me check. Okay. So anyway, I'll wind up for today, and remaining things related to the in continuation of the Young's double slit experiment, few more things what we have to study, that I will discuss that in the next session. Okay. Hope you got all the points. Once again, you just recall all these points whatever I have mentioned. Pause the video, once again you just cross check and you go through with how the interference pattern is formed. If you have some doubts on it, you can please post some comments on it, I will explain that, or by going through that in the coming sessions we can see that. Fine? Okay, thank you.